All right, all right, all right. Greetings and welcome back once again. I pray everybody is doing well. We're gonna have to go back to some basics because I'm hearing and seeing some concerning things. I pray everybody is doing well. Welcome to the discussion. So let me jump on here real quick. This is Amuna. Looks like we're gonna have to go to some basics, even for the young ones who coming behind us, because people out here playing. They're out here playing. Over the last week, 2 weeks, I've seen a number of quote content creators promoting and going to bat for um, tarot card readings and suggesting that that's how they get their information and battling that there's nothing wrong with getting that information and actually putting it alongside the Bible and saying the Bible is witchcraft and it has witchcraft. So I'm like, you know what? Let's have a conversation. Because what's happening in today's space and time really is that people have become disenchanted with a lot of things, right? They've then become disenchanted with religion. They've become disenchanted with the path that our foreparents have gone down and said works. They're seeing a lot of things that hasn't worked, that is not working, and they're looking for the old way. Right, the issue with looking for the old way, picking up the old shoes, picking up, going to the thrift shop and going to all of these places and picking up old things, you don't know what spirits are attached. I was going to do the usual, let's go over tarot cards, let's go over, but I'm not going to do that right now because I'm actually supposed to be shopping. But I said, let me jump on here real quick. What I am going to do is say this. Sometimes, like I said, people get disenchanted. And if they have a tall enough platform or big enough space, they're going to try to, because they don't want to feel, like I said, singled out. They don't want to feel on the outskirts. They're going to now introduce certain things to the people so that they feel like they have company. I've talked about this. I continue to talk about this. Why? Because we have to look at this human psyche and how people operate so that when we're looking at ourselves, we can understand ourselves and thereby understand what it is that we're witnessing. A number of these people didn't just say, okay, say, and I'm going to say specifically, they wanted to know, well, what's the condition of Black people, or more specifically, the man? And so they're going to go to divination cards. They're going to go to tarot cards so that they can understand. But wisdom is principle, therefore get wisdom. And with all you get and get understanding. Before you can really understand what the situation is, you have to have wisdom. Wisdom is principle. That means it's the first thing. You have to have wisdom, because if you don't have wisdom, the way you're going to go about getting understanding, the path that you're going to take can do more harm to you and those around you than good. Basically, this is about knowledge, because wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, they're like triplets. They go together, right? If we're going to go by the biblical path, which a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want to go down that path. And here's why: because of the way in which people have presented it, the things that people are doing who say they represent it leave a bad taste in people's mouths. And instead of them seeking for the true and living power, they're looking for other people to hold their hand. And if it doesn't go the way that they think they should go, they step away from what is wise. Now, the initial issue was the tree of knowledge of good and evil. So that we know that knowledge is going to be at the center of one of the issues. I want to know, right? There's many ways in which you can know something, right? But people want to know what's going on, or know what's going to happen in their life, or know X, Y, whatever it is that we want to know. Now, people say, well, what's wrong with it? It's the way in which we go about knowing, the way in which we go about trying to get this information. That is where the issue comes in. People don't understand that, because in the beginning, there's wisdom. And if you don't have wisdom to say, okay, for instance, you have a young child. You have fresh baked cookies. The young child wants to know what the fresh baked cookies taste like. Now, the way in which that young child goes about acquiring those cookies are going to determine if they did it righteously or wickedly. If the young child who knows that you did not give them permission or gave them the cookies, if they go and take it, without asking and without permission, that would represent the wicked way of going about something. You did not acquire access. You did not get permission. For instance, to tie it with the color purple, Harpo realized that he could not get Sophia in the way in which he wanted to. So he decided to defile her so that there was be no other choice but to be able to take her in that way. So that's what he did, to take it back to what we're reading, right? The righteous way would be go through the front door, to talk to the people who raised her and see whether or not they can grant you permission. What's going on now with these tarot card readings, which people are promoting? I'm just out here like, oh, what? Right? Because they want to know so much. They want to know so badly about what's going on. They want to know by any means necessary. And when we go about it in certain ways, we do not know what energetic spiritual realms we are opening up. Well, what's wrong with that? The ancestor did it, and that's why we're here. I used to talk about this a lot. I seem to have to keep talking about it. That's why we're here. Some people don't say it's a spiritual issue. Yes, it is. Why do you think we're in the position that we're in? Some spiritual laws have been violated. And because spiritual laws are being violated, you can be dominated physically. You wonder why you're dominated physically? Because you're breaking spiritual laws in the spiritual realm, which ultimately manifest in the physical realm. These are things that you're doing in secret, and now not so secret, bringing it to the right of people so you can pollute the whole pool, and then there'll never be any help of getting out of the situation or circumstances that we, the people, seem to find ourselves in. Now, specifically to tarot cards. So you want to know what the condition of the people are. You want to know what's going to happen in your life. So people are using this as a form of divination. I'm sorry, how many of y'all hit the lottery because you went to the Ubia man and you tried to get divinated and he told you and you went and paid? How come the psychic is not able to do all of these things with their own powers? How come they're not able to enrich and better their lives? What's going on with all of this divination, and why haven't the people cracked the code if it works so well? If it works so well, why haven't you cracked the code? If the people have been doing it for centuries, why didn't they know, hey, you shouldn't go into dealings with the European because it's not going to be a good look for a very, very, very long time? Why didn't they know? They was practicing divination. They was using cowrie shells. So there's a lot of people, especially melanated women, who are going back, and this has been happening for years. I'm not saying the church was doing 100% right, but if you throw out everything, all of the precautions, all of the boundary markers, you are opening up yourself. Let this be a PSA warning. And a lot of them are not coming on here telling you about what happens after the camera goes off, or what happens in their life because they went and touched. As you could tell, this topic gets me a little lit because I've seen it. I haven't personally touched up. I have seen other people who are close to me who have personally opened doors and that they wish they never would have. So for me, if you want to see me get a little turned up, this is the space where I kind of get a little turned up, because what happens is, if you're not a strong enough individual to be able to fight whatever type of forces you're going to open up and bring into your life, trust and believe. The reason why a lot of people and a lot of families in the situation that they are, because your granny, great granny, grandfather, uncle, somebody was opening doors somewhere, doing things behind trees, doing things when nobody was looking, doing all of these things that open energetic portholes that these spiritual entities and some demons have made covenants with them, so that they can get whatever it is they feel they want: knowledge, success, that person. They've used it for romantic relationships. And you wonder why that relationship was so toxic, or you wonder why, because somebody played spiritually and tried to manipulate the physical realm through the spiritual. Using the excuse of, oh, you see it here and see it there, is not going to absorb you, the person or whomever, of the consequences of playing around. And I'm here to tell you it's not worth it. I'm a little hyped today. Because this is foolishness. I'm sitting here looking at you talking to thousands of people, about to lead them down into a pit because you thought it was okay to play around down there. The groves and the high places. Yes, sweetie. the groves and the high places, leading people again to their own destruction, and then turn around saying, I'm trying to, and a lot of them are doing it. I'm gonna start calling it. I've seen Omar Johnson go to graves. I see what's her name? Some of these other ones over here doing what's the girl name? Uh People throwing out libations, people going over to what's these people named Cynthia G over here telling people about tarot card readings. What's the next lady? The Tanya TKO over here talking about she doing live readings. Bruh, bruh, bruh. Ona need to stop it. Ona need, okay, True Diamond says, I went to the flea market yesterday and there were some female black-owned shops. All of them were selling items that cater to the new age movement and alternate spirituality. Okay? And here's the thing, there's people that saying, I see things, if something is happening, something is moving. Oh yeah, something is happening, something is moving, all right. Oh yeah, it's gonna happen, it's gonna move. You probably might see some stuff. You probably might be convinced. But ask the people who have done things like Ouija board and calling on spirits what happens. Ask the people who really opening up, quote, third eye and emptying yourself as a vessel. I wrote something very, very, very long time ago, like years ago, because of what I saw with my own eyes. And I gave the same warning that I'm giving today. Okay? Play if you want to. That's the warning. Play if you want to. You want to know so much about what's happening with someone else, say the black male in the community, that you're willing to open up Pandora's box that you can't close. Because guess what? Here's the thing about spirituality. I don't talk about it often, and I don't talk about certain things often because people have given a bad taste in people's mouth. It doesn't mean I don't know. It just means that I just watch and try to reach people where they are. Yes, I'm going to open it up, sis. I'm going to open it up. I like to try to, over the years, I've seen people, they come on here, they talk about the Bible, they talk about spirituality, and then they leave people astray. And I'm not down with that. But I say all that to say, it's not that I don't know. And when I see certain things, that's when I'll really be like, you know what? Y'all are going too far, bruh. Here's the thing. One of the things with spirituality. If you, my dear, honey, darling, sweetness, like doing like a Monique Queen, if you spiritually do not have immunity, meaning if you are not secure spiritually because there's some open doors in your life, meaning there's sin somewhere. And they say everybody sins. No, I mean, you're actively engaging in things that open doors in your life. Either you're sexually depraved, or you nurse anger, or you're doing something that's off. All of these things open us up, open the individual up spiritually to things that stick on you. This is why in the case of Balak and Balaam, you heard, I want you to curse them. He says, well, I can't curse who the Most High curse, and then he says, you know what? Go this way. And if you can get them to sin against their creator, then you got them. So usually in certain spaces, if they want you to be susceptible to them spiritually, they get you to sin behind women, or in the women's case, behind men. That means sexual sin. They get you to do either be a liar, be a murderer. You have to have some type of violation of universal laws and principles that opens the door for you to be susceptible to whatever's about to come through. So some of these people that you hear talking look good, look real good in their lives. And if the energy that they're vibrating on lets you know that there's an open door somewhere, when those spirits come in, when those spirits come in, they're gonna have a warm time. You hear what I'm saying to you? They're going to have a warm time. And depending on what level of spirits you allow, because there's different levels out here, right? There's different levels, and certain things that you do calls them to you. Y'all could tell that this topic right here got me like, let me, certain things that you do call them to you. So now certain people that you listen to, if the person is going off, be careful. Because the more you use your porthole, let's talk about portals. I talk about feminine and masculine. Your portals are the entry points into your soul. Your ears are the major entry point to your soul. This is why you can hear a word and it moves you. You could see something. If you watch a video and you see it, you're like, okay. But you could use no video and you hear something and it will move you. It will stir your soul. Your ears and your eyes are entry points. Your nose is also an entry point. Your mouth is also an entry point. So when somebody wants to get you to sin, they go through these vehicles, these avenues, so that they can see what you are more susceptible to. Some people, you can't catch them with food, but you can catch them with what you see. So then they put all pornography on the television. They put debauchery on the television. They put all of these things. Why? So that when it comes into your eye portals, then you become susceptible to whatever it is you're seeing. We saw this with Jacob. When Jacob wanted the speckled and spotted, what did he do? He put something before the animals so that when they reproduce speckled and spotted. It's in Torah, it's universal law. But people want to play games today. People want to play games today. Today, I don't think I came to play games. People want to play games today. It is very dangerous. Now, where's this place that I can enter this thing here? Where can I put this? Hold on, my apologies. I'm trying to see where I can text. Where can I put this text here? Hold on, peoples. So when people is out here telling you guys, oh, yeah, do this, do that. India B said people, you need to be very careful. Because them same people that you like when I was younger, hey, how come I cannot put the text in this? I'm on my cell phone, my bad. When I was younger, you could tell when I'm getting upset because then I'm just all Caribbean all day. They said people will lead you in a battle wall and leave you there, right? Some of these people is leading you into the depths and the pit, and it's not no scare tactics or no terror tactics. This is facts. And then you have to ask yourself, was the information worth it? I wanted to know so bad, but was it worth it? At what expense? It's like the young girl who wants to know so bad. She thinks she's grown. She want to be with a man. She thinks she's grown. She wants to know so badly. At what expense? Yeah? True Diamond, I don't, my apologies. I don't see where I can text, drop something in the text box. I was trying to drop the link. Let me go on the next side and see. Hold on. So that's kind of what I wanted to say. That's kind of what I wanted to say. I don't think I could put it in the text box today. My apologies. I will come back on here later. I was going to do some reading and then we can finish up with this, do another color purple thing. But yeah, this thing is something that kind of upsets me. And it's something that I can't sit down on. Usually I don't come on here and call names, but yo, what I'm seeing is madness, right? And people are justifying it. They're justifying it with, oh, it's in the Bible. Oh, it's this. Listen, let me just say this. Where you get your information from is important. It's like, why do water companies print where the water comes from? Because the source of the water is important. Because the source of the water determines what contaminants or vitamins or minerals are in the water. So to make the comparison, and it's easy because when you're the only person talking, it sounds good, right? And when somebody else comes that don't agree, then you can just you don't agree and just cut the person off. But the reason why you see water people who produce water tell you where the source is from, because you get to understand, okay, this is spring, this is reclaimed water, this is what, so you can know what is in the water. Information is like this water, but the source of that information, where that information is coming from, just ask Flint if water is water. You understand what I'm saying? Ask Flint. Oh, it was water, all right, but what was in it? So the source of this information that you're getting from whomever you are tapping into, whatever entities that you have invited, some of these people who are quote divining, you don't know what's in and around them. You don't know who's speaking to them. You don't know where they're getting this information from. Truth Perspective said if it ain't from the Most High, then it's from the Most Low, from the depths. And first of all, these monitors, you have monitors around you. Yeah, phone ringing. My apologies. You have monitoring spirits around you. You have spirits around that has information, and we are like babies onto these spirits, because it's like, oh my goodness, how could you know that? We get awed and amazed at the craziest things. I don't know if you guys have seen like David Blaine and some of these magicians that can do straight obia in front of your face, right? And the people are like, oh my goodness, I'm so amazed. I can't believe it. We're like children because we're awed. When we came here manifested into the flesh, certain spiritual things we no longer have access to. So when we see it, we're amazed, we're open. That's why usually look when you see something amazing and you go, wow, what happens to your mouth? Look, you're open. And when you're open, then you allow for certain things to enter in. Right? Listen to what we say when you're amazed. Wow, look at the way your mouth opens, one of your portholes. Okay? So, yeah, about that, no. Or what they gave to get the information, correct. Or what they gave to get the information. There's a lot of people at the turn of the century in the 1900s. There's a lot of people who did a lot of things, and some of them didn't. Some of the technologies that came in, they told you what they did. They told you that they were scribing. Do we know what scribing is? Allowing your spirit to be open and allowing other entities to come in to disseminate information. These people told you what they were doing. That's how they got these technologies that don't even make sense, from horse and buggy to flying around the world and breaking sound barriers. They're telling you what they were doing. They were opening up themselves to spirits. And in doing so, they brought other things in. So yeah, they gave you this, but it came with, it's like the medication. I'll fix this, but then it's going to come with all of these other things. So to compare what is being given by the divine, the creator, to what is being given by other entities, well, let's see the end of the matter, right? Let's see the end of the matter. Let's see how it all worked out for you. And I'm aware that this is happening all around us, and that there's some people that has information that sounds like it's something that we should be listening to and adhering to, and that's how they get you. But at the end of the day, what's their condition? What's the condition of those around them? We have to look at the fruits. We can't step away from looking at, okay, do you get up every day? Because how do you get up every day and get yourself in a negative space where you can curse, belittle, downgrade? If you're in that space every day, that means you have to live there. Or do you put on this act every time you come to address the people that you're mad, you're upset, you're bitter, you're indifferent? I couldn't do it. You understand what I'm saying? Every day you come through and you on some old, let me tell you why this person, that person, everybody's the worst person in the world. You can't find no good people in your life nowhere. You know, I find that hard to understand and believe. My point being, and this is not just for any one content creator. It's just something, a trend that I'm seeing going on. And as I know, and as we see here, a lot of people are aware of it and seeing what's going on. Be careful. One, the younger ones, we may know, but they're younger people. YouTube shows you the demographics of people who are watching. So it may seem like preaching to the choir, but you got 16-year-olds and 17-year-olds and 18-year-olds trying to figure out what's going on in their life, feeling a little lost, looking for answers. And they begin to start knocking on doors and looking for answers in places that's only going to send them deeper into a spiral. Trauma is another point that allows things to come in, because people touch your pain point, they touch your trauma, and then what happens? You allow them in because it feels like they're speaking to you, and they're speaking to your issue and to your concern, and the next thing you know, they're introducing madness. They're introducing madness into your life. And then what you're gonna do? They're gonna be like, super chat me to get it off. Super chat me and in the back room and I help you. Really? Really? You want the people to super chat you so that you can get it off? Okay. I'm sorry, y'all. Amuna's a little bit out of form today because this is madness. Any questions or comments? I wanted to put the link in the box, but oh wait, let me see. Yes, invite guests. Send this link to guests. But the thing is that I don't see where I should drop this in. Let me see something. Hold on. So where my chat box there? I'm sorry, people. These women are leading the other women astray while laughing straight to the bank. That's another thing. Yeah. And the people are paying them to do it, True Diamond. They're paying them to do it. Like super chat me. Super chat me. Yep, join my thing. Let me go in the back room and tell you how to do foolishness that you're not going to be able to get over because you don't have any spiritual understanding. And when they tie you up, the thing is this. Like I said, I've seen it happen to people close to me. And I warned them. And they disregarded the warning. And when they disregarded the warning, the door they opened, that thing couldn't shut 7 years. You hear what I'm saying to you? 7 years. And it took them almost out. So this is not a game. And it starts with these little things. Meditation, being still, learning how to still your spirit is good. Emptying yourself and allowing for, and I said it to somebody recently, and I know it took them aback because this is something, if you push me on this one, all of that is going to come out. And I said to somebody recently who I was talking to, and they were like, well, I do this and that. I had to say, give them the same admonition and warning. And be careful what you're doing. Some said it's white magic, and some, listen. Yeah, no. Okay. Because it starts small. Watch out for this whole emptying out yourself and allowing certain things, because guess what, there's spirits that are all around. Like I said, your family members, somebody somewhere, somebody who didn't like your family. It could have never even been your family members. It could have been your family was guilty of something, and somebody who didn't like your family, right, put these monitoring spirits in and around your family, which then it's following you wherever you go. It may sound like hooky spooky, but it's real. Okay, I can tell you some stories that make your hair stand up on your arms and the back of your neck. Okay, and because along the way, personally, I'm diligent on growth and development, not meditating on cursing people. Somebody who cannot control their anger, even Solomon tells you, don't keep company with that person because you will learn their ways. Right? Anger, certain low vibrational energy, depression, they will allow these things to adhere to you and begin to vampirically suck your energy. Right? And so why do you think there's a lot of fearmonger on the television? Why do you think there's a lot of death before you on the television? Why do you think there's a lot of explicit sexuality before you on the television, in the radio, and all of these places? Because they get you in a space where you can resonate with these lower vibrational beings. Let me say something for those who want to know. If there's something that you want to know, it is something that you need to know, because life is schoolhouse, right? If there's something that you need to know, I'm not saying premonitions don't happen. I'm not saying visions don't happen. I'm not saying prophetic messages don't happen. They absolutely do. They absolutely do. They happen. I'm witness to it. I experienced it. So I'm not saying that these things don't happen. What I'm saying is, when people don't necessarily have that gift or those gifts, it may not just be a gift. It may be that the vessel that this information is trying to come through is polluted. Therefore, you're not getting the information that you need or that you seek. And because we, the people, want to be in control of everything except ourselves, because we, the people, want to know, we just have to know because we have to know now. We don't have the time to ask and wait. You don't necessarily ask today and tomorrow it comes, right? You ask and you wait, and you continue to move through, and the information will be revealed to you in whatever way the Creator has for the information to be revealed to you. But if you have to go asking dead people, if you have to be doing some type of spiritually illegal means, If you're going to the witch of Endor like Shaul, because he just needed to know. If you're going down that path, just know it comes with other things. You might get something like, because you have done this thing. You might get a little bit of feedback because you have done this thing. Now, people will say, well, Haiti, that's how, when you look at the Haitian Revolution and what they did to break free, we see the negative lashback to this day because spiritually, a lot of spiritual laws were violated in order to get their freedom. And to this day, Haiti bears the marks of it. I'm done. Anybody else have anything to say right now? I'm sorry that I couldn't. Let me see if I can go on the other side and put it in the box. One second. Yeah, my apologies. Just stay right there. Don't go nowhere. I'm gonna try to go on the YouTube side and try to drop this in the box. Hold on a second. Give me 2 minutes. Yeah, so basically that's my thought. Somebody began to use different things, purposes, divination, but just single out tarot cards. They may be likely to be like, oh, well, what about quarry? Everything in the Bible did not leave place. The Bible is full of information about people employing different things that got them in problems. So pointing to the Bible and saying witchcraft is in it.
Hello.
I guess you can plug my thing in.
Can you hear the gap?
Hello?
You.
Hello?
Hold on one.
Hello. Can you all hear me? Okay. I hope everyone can hear me. My question was, I like the topic for today, but my question was, how come the European who went around the world and who plumbered everywhere. And I think they broke the most spiritual laws. How come they are not paying for their, for their, how do you call it in English? For their behavior or for their breaking in laws? They went to different islands, killed millions of people, and they're still striving. So that's all I wanted to ask.
Can I be heard now?
Yes,
I can be heard?
yes, yes, I can hear
All
you.
right, cool. All right, good. I had to go out and I had switched applications and the phone don't have that much memory. All right, sis, go ahead. True Diamond, you could come back in. Okay, go ahead, Nasha.
Yes, hello. Yes, my question was, the European went around the world, plumbered everywhere, killed so many people, killed so many islands. I mean, they committed the most crimes I've never. That, but how come they are still striving? How come the people who did the least of the crimes are the ones suffering? Hello,
Yeah, can you
I
hear
can
me?
hear you. You are breaking up. Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
you are breaking up a little bit, but I can hear you.
Maybe that's the problem. Maybe because yeah, I'm on the Wi-Fi, but a lot of things, it appears that they're striving. I would say that appearances are one thing. It appears that they're striving, but in order to stay, there are a lot of actions that they have to continue to do in order to do so. You understand what I'm saying? So
Mm,
look, striving, but there are definitely other things that have one of those things that allows the appearance of striving is the fact that the people who are being dominated either forgot about or stepped away from understanding certain spiritual laws that open up. You understand what I'm saying? So it kind of
mm,
ties together. One person is aware of certain things and they're using it and exploiting it, and the other people have stepped away from certain things. That's how I, that's in
okay,
order for
thank
them
you.
to come in, they have to appeal to something that the people want, right? So even concerning the slave trade, it had to be appealing. It had to be appealing to something that people wanted. If a hierarchy, the aristocracy of the place, it was something that they wanted, that they appealed to. Money, guns, drugs, whatever it is, they appealed to it, and it opened up a door for them to be able to come in. They didn't just like, hey, I'm here. Hey, you want me to build you some roads? You want me to build you some highways? Tell me what you want. I got you. There's something that happened. The Indians, they jumped, hey, I'm here. They started fighting, and I'm going to assert myself over you. One of the things that, if you look at history, that oftentimes has been done is they understood spiritual law of proclaiming something. So they begin to proclaim, this is my portion and this is your portion. Like, who gave you the right? Then they started to do what? Write it down, took it from the spiritual, put it in the physical, began to write these contracts and covenants. And then they show up with the very same thing that they made and say, hey, I came to enforce this. Eventually, people started believing, like, oh, okay, I guess you got the right to do so. But they made it up.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I think True Diamond is here. Share your thoughts, sis.
Yeah. Hey sis, how are you today?
I'm a little bit turned up, but it's okay.
I, you know, I am so glad that you brought this up because literally Friday and Saturday, I had a couple of experiences. I'm gonna make it real short. Y'all don't hear any feedback, do you? Because I hear some feedback on my end, but I don't have anything on.
Go
Is there
ahead.
any feedback?
No, there's no feedback.
Okay. I thought I heard a little bit here. Okay. Well, anyway, I was actually on YouTube, and in my suggestions, there was a video that I liked 10 years ago, and it was by a relationship coach by Deborah Cooper. Y'all may have heard from her, or whatever. But anyway, it was about I think it was about abuse, verbal abuse and stuff like that. So I was like, wow, this was 10 years ago. Let me look at it. So she was just talking about verbal abuse, basic things or whatever. And I was reading in the comments, and somebody said, oh, there's a scripture that says in the last days people will be lovers of themselves, and went on with that scripture in 2 Timothy 3. So then Miss Cooper commented, she said, oh, I'm a non-Christian. I've never heard of this scripture. Can you tell me where it is? I can use this. Now I'm like, okay, even if you are non-Christian, most non-Christians have heard this scripture in some sort of kind of way. So I kind of scratched my head like, and I believe this woman is single. She was either never married or what never married. Even when back then, when I can't say I was actually following her or listening to her, just going through YouTube videos or whatever. And I just quit watching her because I said, something is off about this person. And so then I put that in context what I was seeing as far as some of these other, I call them the woman sphere ladies, promoting this tarot card reading. So I said, this is not going to lead anybody into a positive, healthy relationship. It's only going to lead you into pretty much being more deceived, more and more deceived. And I've thought about the very people that they are speaking against, let's say the manosphere people. You're like the pot calling the kettle black. You're doing the exact same thing. You're using a different power, a different source, a different way in order to receive a positive result. But that's not the way that it works. And like you were saying, I like how you pointed out, you have young 16, 17-year-old girls listening to this information, trying to gain what? Power and control. But that's not the way that it works. And in order to get this result that they see, I liked how you pointed out how basically the white people, they use that Bible in order to better themselves. I talk to my kids about that all the time. That's why they have better rates. They have all rates, educational rates, marriage rates, this rate, that rate than we do, because they've taken the information, they've taken it on unto themselves and used it as a guide. A lot of them people don't believe every word for word was written in that Bible, but what they do have, what they do know that works, they hold on to it. Even those wives can use those scriptures against those husbands and say, you're supposed to love me. But we don't even have that basic knowledge of understanding that, yes, was given to us. Because I even tell my children, listen, yes, the white man, quote unquote, gave us, quote unquote, the Bible. They may have misinterpreted and used it for wrong, but God's words always stands. It's going to stand to the end of time. So I'm a little disappointed. I don't really listen to them, but again, they do have some good information. But at the end of the day, one thing I know about myself is I'm a matured Christian. I'm a matured person, period. So therefore, yes, it's almost it kind of if I listen to them, it reminds me of when I was in college. When I took psychology and some of these other classes, I kind of giggled to myself like this stuff is you can take it or leave it, but some of it is true. So what am I going to do? Throw the whole what is that called? Throw the baby out with the bathwater? No, I'm not going to do that. So that's why I said, okay, I can listen to it. I'm matured, but this is not information for everybody. And then one last point was when I went to the what they call it, the flea market. I actually had never been, but I was shocked to see so many black owned shops catering to basically, I call it the workings of witchcraft with stones and all kind of stones, expensive incense and oils and paintings of goddesses and things. And I was like, wow, this is where we are. I don't approve of it. I don't approve of the message. But that's all I wanted to say. Hello?
Can you hear me? It's a little slow. I'm on my phone. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. That
All
was all.
right. Thank you so much, True Diamond, for sharing your thoughts. You said a lot, and I thank you for your voice. Thank you for letting it
Yeah.
be heard. There's a lot of stuff going on. It's for those who or just getting wind of it. It's like, well, what's so bad? I have my thoughts on stones, and I have my thoughts on different things. Maybe I'll come and share in depth another time. But basically, what as empowered people control our life and feel like we know where we're going, because there's a part of Christianity that makes you feel supposed to work out and work out, right? And it's because somebody's been applying things incorrectly.
Yes.
There's some people have been tinkering with things and then they're putting a name on it and saying that this is what it's supposed to be, but that's not actually what they're doing. What they're doing is robbing the people, fattening themselves and leaving the people spiritually malnourished.
Right. Right. And there's a scripture that said there's a way that seemeth right. Even when applying scripture, you can apply it wrong. So what they're doing, they really think I'm right. I'm going in the right direction. And I'm like, wow, but this is going to lead people astray. It's really disheartening. But all I can do is for the youth that I know, I just try to tell them, hey, apply biblical scripture. And not only that, look at people's lives who actually have healthy relationships. That was one thing that helped me. You want to learn about what a long-lasting, healthy relationship? Look at those who actually are living it, who are in it, and exercising those things daily with their wives, their husbands, and their children, and others. Not the ones who are not doing it. They actually, I'm not saying they can't completely not give you information, but in order to get what your heart's desire, it's best to look for those who are actually putting those things in action. So you'll have an example.
That's absolutely correct. There's a lot of people out here who are speaking in theory. There's a very big difference between theory and practice, right? There's people out here who we're listening to who don't have children and don't want children. So they're going to advise you in ways that may not suit your goals if it's children and a family and a husband or a wife that you want. So therefore, if you're going to follow them, you're going to end up where they are because they don't have the same values. They don't have the same morals. And oftentimes they give information, like I said, they fish with a certain bait on the hook that may speak to your issues or where you are right now or where your trauma is and hook you in. And before you realize it, you're like, well, how come you're not going to go looking for or be ready for a mate if you think all of them are trash? You're not going to try to have children if you don't value children. You know what I mean? So it's like, and then you wonder why you're miserable, or you wonder why you're lonely, or you wonder why you have terrible relationships. It's because you're feeding on junk food every day.
Every day. And it will take a hold in your heart and in your mind. And that is again the mistake people are making. It will take a hold. I'm not saying I ever was that. I just always had a really strong mind, but I'm pretty sure there are so many young men and women. And again, this is the hypocrisy of it. How many young men do these same people, these same ladies say, oh, these men are doing this, influencing other men to do this. But now you're doing the exact same thing. Where you go to the comment section and you see women saying, oh, single for life and I'll die alone and all of this and that. Well, is that your goal? Is that actually your goal? Or are you walking in fear? You know, who are you actually trusting in? Somebody on the internet that you'll never meet, never know? Or are you surrounded by people who, like we said, are putting these things in practice that may actually be a goal of yours? If you actually get around those people, you'll start looking at things differently. And yes, there are people out there putting it in practice, not putting down anybody who's not. Because what I've learned over my short period of time on this earth, there are people who don't want children, point blank and simple. And what I've learned is you better know those ones who feel that way. And if you are one that feel that way, then you have a right to feel that way. But don't put someone else down who wants that. And if that is what you want, surround yourself with those type of people who have your same life goals.
Agreed. We're gonna come back later. What time is it? 3 o'clock. They're probably looking at where
Okay.
did you go?
Well, thanks for having me. I'm gonna jump off
Yeah, I'm
here.
about to run. All right then. I'm about to
All
run and
right,
get the
thanks,
rest of this food. But
guys.
yeah, thank you. I'll see you a little later,
You're
most
welcome.
I willing. But to that point, yeah, know who you're dealing with, know who's talking, know if the fox has a tail, basically. Because if the fox doesn't have no tail, they're about to convince you to cut yours off, right? So with that said, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Thank you for being with me as I get through some of that. Thank everybody for calling in. We'll probably come back a little later. I got some reading to do. Hopefully we'll come back and talk about Color Purple a little bit more. With that said, have a blessed. Sorry about the technical difficulties. I'm on the phone. You already know.